are going to be going over GBP JPY. What is our goal of going over GBP JPY? We are trying to look out for trade entry opportunities for the new week. You all know that GBP JPY is my favorite currency pair because of the amount of opportunities that GBP JPY throws to me. And on GBP JPY, I'm able to see opportunities, wait for opportunities, execute, and make winning positions off of GBP JPY. Okay, so now that we've talked about that, what else are we going to talk about? We are now going to go ahead and apply our pure price action trading system to GBP JPY for a real-time trade entry opportunity. Okay, so what is the first thing that we do on the charts, right? The first thing that we do on the charts, like you know, is to identify the real-time zone where price is at. Now that has been identified, right? The next thing we want to do is what? What is the wave of the ocean? Okay, what is the wave of the ocean? And remember that these things are done on the monthly time frame. Okay, so if we're trying to find the wave of the ocean, we can zoom out in its entirety. Okay, so if we zoom out in its entirety, one thing that we can see on GBP JPY is that what? The wave of the ocean is very bearish. Okay, if we zoom out, you know, we can see the information from 1975. We can see that this is the wave of the ocean. Okay, this is what the monthly time frame has showed us, right? The wave of the ocean in its entirety is bearish. Okay, so what is the next thing we are going to do? The next thing we are going to do is that what? Okay, let's read the structures out. Yes, we've seen that the wave of the ocean is bearish. What is the next thing we do? Let's read these structures out, okay? So that we can be able to know what to do next, okay? So from the highest point right here from 1975, we saw prices make push. We saw prices come for an exhaustion here. Then we saw prices start small structure circles. Make what? Push, exhaustion here, push to this level here. Then prices came for an exhaustion here. Then price continued making push here. Then price made an exhaustion here. Okay, so after this, what did prices do? Prices made a push here. It came for the exhaustion the first time, but it was not able to create the lower low. Sometimes prices goes for an exhaustion the first time, but that first wave of exhaustion may not be able to create the lower low. So what is prices going to do? It will go back for another wave of exhaustion, test equal level, you know, around that zone at least. Then what? Then gather enough strength to create that lower low. And this is exactly what happened here. So what did prices do again? Prices went for the first wave of exhaustion. It was not able to create the lower low. What did prices do? It came here, and right now prices are around, you know, equal resistance points here. It's just around that zone. And we know that anytime from now, it will gather enough momentum and continue in clear bearish coordinations of lower highs and lower lows. Okay, so this is how it works. This is how this is the entire structures being broken down on the monthly time frame. Okay, so right now that we've zoomed in, let's try to just read the structures out, you know, on a more clearer chart. Okay, we said from here, right, prices came, made the push here, prices came for the first wave of exhaustion. It was not able to create the lower low. Then what did prices do? Came for the second wave of exhaustion, and that double exhaustion, that double pressure was now able to create a lower low. Okay, so sometimes we see prices do that. Prices has to have that double pressure, right? And that double pressure is what gives prices enough momentum to break and what create that lower low. So right now we see prices go for the first wave of exhaustion. It was not able to break. Instead, it grabbed an higher low, and right now it's back around this zone for a second wave of exhaustion. Okay, at a break of structure, it must be confirmed by a break of structure. At a break of structure, we know that prices would have gathered enough momentum to break and go ahead and create the lower low. Okay, so before we go on, you know, because I identified that part on clearer charts, you know, I zoomed in. Let me just identify all of these structures. Okay, so that it won't be like we avoided any structure. This is push exhaustion, smaller structure circle, push exhaustion. This is push exhaustion right here. Then prices made all of this push and exhaustion. Then that's when prices now made the bigger structures. Okay, I just wanted to show you that all of these are still what? Clear bearish structures of lower highs and lower lows. Okay, so now that that has been defined, what are we going to do? We are now going to take, you know, this most immediate window right here, which is the window from here to here. Okay, so what is going on within that window? Like we talked about, we said that we said that all of this were push, right? This was what? The first wave of exhaustion. It couldn't create the lower low. The momentum was not as much, just like it happened in the past. The first wave of exhaustion could not create the lower low. It created an higher low, went back for a second wave of exhaustion, and the momentum was now strong enough to break. Okay, so in this case, the first wave of exhaustion couldn't create the lower low. Instead, prices grabbed an higher low. And what is prices doing now is back to test that double pressure, to get that double pressure. And at a break of structure, prices will clearly create the lower low, but it must be confirmed by a break of structure. What does this mean? If there's a bearish structure like this, right, a break of structure is the only thing that will allow us to know that the bulls are done and the bears have continued in the direction of trend. Okay, price goes back for an exhaustion. A break of structure must be confirmed for us to know that yes, the bears have continued. Without a break of structure, right, prices may actually just keep making higher highs. It will never break above this high, but it may just keep playing around, get very close before break of structure. Now, this is the monthly time frame. This very close I'm talking about could be like 4-5 months of bullish push, 6-7 months of bullish push, while you are like, oh, price is ready to sell, only for price to keep going down because what? A break of structure has not been seen. Okay, like for example, in this case now, if I bring up my Fibonacci from the highest point here to the lowest point here, okay, you can see the story again. All of this were what? Push. This was the first wave of exhaustion to around the 61.8 zone. It didn't even touch 61.8 pinpoint. It couldn't create the lower low. Then what the prices do? Prices now came, grab this higher low, came back again to test that zone. Now, this bullish push now is the most active structure of prices on the monthly time frame because there has not been a break of structure. When a break of structure eventually happens, what are we going to be doing? If anybody is a retracement, sell direction of trend, to the ground side, okay? But as at this moment, this bullish push that took prices up for a retracement, the bullish push, this last wave of push has not been violated, allowing us to know that the last higher low is still intact, and this allows us to know that the bulls are still the most significant structure of prices on GBP JPY. Okay, so that is this retracement structures on the monthly time frame, right, of push, exhaustion here, push to this level, exhaustion here, push to this level, exhaustion here, small structure circle, push to this level, exhaustion here, then prices now made another push to this level here, which is around the 61.8 zone, right? We have seen clearly, let me identify this level as 61 point, monthly 61.8, monthly 61.8. Okay, let's put that in caps. Let's put the monthly in caps. Okay, so this bullish structure that took prices up for the retracement, these bullish structures have been active since about 2020, right? These bullish structures have not been violated. This means since year 2020, prices have been making clear structures of higher highs and higher lows since the year 2020, just as we can see right here. This was where the bullish move started. You can see this was somewhere around there, around the year 2020, just before 2021. That's when price has been making clear bullish structures of higher highs and higher lows, and that is still the most significant structure of prices. This is the most significant structure of prices. These bullish structures are still active because what? We've not seen a break of structure. Okay, so these bullish structures are still what? Very, very active. Okay, so this is push, prices came for exhaustion, and prices pushed to the monthly 61.8. So this means that what this could actually, because the bullish structures are still the most active structures, this could actually, price could just come for a retracement. All of this move may just be a retracement to the 61.8, continue going up, retracement, continue going up, retracement. It will never break above this high, but it may just keep playing around before eventually breaking structure. Now, this play around I'm talking about can be like 5, 6, 7, 8 months of bullish push. While you are expecting prices to sell, price keeps making bullish push because what? There has not been a break of structure. Okay, so this means that what? It was very important I explained that concept, because this means that what? If we are buying, it is the current direction of trend, because what the bulls have the current direction of trend from the monthly time frame. Remember that all of these are done on the monthly time frame. But the monthly time frame that allows us to know the current direction, the current or the overall direction of prices is the monthly time frame that allows us to know that, right? So now that that has been defined, what are we going to do? We'll now take this monthly 61.8 level and take this support level here, which is a monthly support, monthly support level. Okay, so we'll now take this window as what? As our range of focus, the monthly resistance point and this monthly support point, and all of this information from here, from this highest point here to basically this level here where this higher low started. This is basically the information I need. On the monthly time frame, remember that what our job is to keep bracketing prices into range of focus, right? Until we see a real-time trade entry opportunity. So the monthly time frame has helped us. Okay, so now let's just do a once over of what we did on the monthly time frame. One, the monthly time frame allowed us to know the entire wave of the ocean. Okay, and we said that what? The entire wave of the ocean is bearish, right? However, the bullish structures that took prices for a retracement, okay? Remember I just talked about it, that what? This is push, this is exhaustion, right? This is push. These bullish structures that took prices for a retracement, okay, there has not been a break of this bullish structure, which allows me to know that what? The sellers are not ready. Whenever a break of structure happens, then yes, the sellers are ready and we know that price is coming here. But without a break of structure, this could just be an higher low or a continuous push before the break of structure comes. Okay, so we have now seen that the most active structure of price on the monthly time frame is the bullish structure, which is the bullish structure that picked up from here to go and test 61 for the second time. It is the bullish structure. Okay, so this means that what? This move, all of this can actually just be push, exhaustion, price can come for an exhaustion at this level, push to this level, all this exhaustion at this level, and still go ahead and make a push, which would be the current direction of trend. Okay, so that concept is very, very important for us to understand. So now what did we now do next? We now decided to take what? The most significant high of prices, which is this high around the monthly 61.8 level, and we now took the last higher low of prices, which is this higher low right here, and we now took that window as what? As our range of focus. Okay, so we now took our range of focus to what? To the weekly time frame, and our job on the weekly time frame is to what? Is to expand what we have already seen on the monthly time frame. Okay, so now we said from here to here, this window right here is what is our range of focus. Okay, so now within this range of focus, what is going on within our range of focus? Okay, so from our range of focus, from here we saw prices make push to this level, then we saw prices come for an exhaustion. It's a small exhaustion. So prices go for another push, go for an exhaustion here. We saw prices make all of this push, all of these structures. We are still going to expand them on the daily time frame so that we have a clear look. We can see the structures clearly, right? So prices made another push here, then prices came for an exhaustion, then prices made another push to the monthly 61.8, and the monthly 61.8 triggered a break of structure within this range of focus. The break of structure happened. Okay, however, after the break of structure happened, what did prices do? Prices ended the sell opportunity by what? By breaking the entire bearish structure that brought it down to the 61.8 zone. Prices broke the entire bearish structure. This is the last lower high here, and the last lower high got broken, allowing us to know that we'll just wait for a discount by the direction of trend. So this is basically everything that is going on GBP JPY. This is basically everything. There was a bullish structure, right? The bullish structure got broken. What did prices do? Prices came around the 61.8 zone. Remember, we said 61 points is a zone and not a pinpoint level. So someone will say, oh, but price trade below 61.8, it doesn't matter. I've mentioned this several times, right? That so far it's a retracement. We know that if we are selling, it's a retracement because the most active structure of prices is the bullish structure. So we know if we are buying, it's in the direction of trend, and if we are selling, it's a retracement, right? So we know that what? That the break of this bullish structure, right? Prices came down for a retracement to 61.8. However, we are confident that because these sales are a retracement, price is going to correct back into the 61 point, which prices did corrected back into the 61.8. Now it only came for a discount and it's set to take off back to the top, which is the 100.0 Fibonacci level of the broken structure circle. Okay, so now what are we going to do? We are now going to take this lowest point right here. We'll just take this lowest point here and tag this lowest point as 61.8 zone. Okay, we'll just tag the lowest point. Okay, I'll make it pinpoint 61.8 zone. I'll make it pinpoint. Let me just tag it zone PRA. Okay, so we'll put it in the box right here, which is the lowest point. So we tag this level here as 61.8 zone PRA. What happened at the 61.8 zone PRA? remember that what the entire structures that brought prices down for the retracement, this is the last lower high here. This is the last lower high. Then prices made a push. Then prices broke the last lower high. A clear break of structure has occurred. Okay, the last lower high, as we can see right here, got broken. This was where it got broken. Okay, let me make it as clear as I can. Okay, I want to just make it as clear as I can. If I switch to line chart, you will see this is it. The last lower high here got broken, allowing us to know that yes, the exhaustions are done. All of these retracements are done. And right now, we are buying in the direction of trend. So all of these bearish moves, right, are what? Are just discounts. Okay, price just came for discount to 61.8 and prices is coming to the high. Okay, that is the highest point of the broken structure circle. Okay, so now that has been defined, what are we going to do? We'll now go on to the daily time frame to just expand what we just read out again. Let's just go back to the daily time frame. Let's expand every single thing we just read out again from the weekly time frame. Now, what did we see? Okay, from here we saw prices make push to this level. We saw price made an exhaustion, push to this level, an exhaustion, push to this level, an exhaustion, push to this level, an exhaustion, push to this level here. Price made an exhaustion here, push to this level, price made an exhaustion, then prices push to this level that we tagged as what? We tagged this level as the monthly 61.8. Remember, we also tagged this level as the monthly support. Okay, so prices made that clear bullish push to the monthly 61.8 level. Now, this monthly 61.8 level, like we said, now triggered a break of structure. A break of structure upon the last higher low was broken. What was the higher low? It was this higher low that got broken. The last higher low was broken right here, allowing us to know that yes, the sellers are ready. However, where did the sell end? The sell ended at this level here, which is the 61.8 zone PRA. Yes, prices traded below 61.8, but just like we said, 61.8 is a zone and not a pinpoint level. Okay, so yes, it traded below 61.8, but you can see that eventually prices corrected back into the 61.8, even though it traded below. Okay, so that's why we tagged that level as 61.8 zone PRA. Okay, so after prices now completed that, what did prices do? The entire bearish structure that brought prices down for the discount to 61.8. Sorry, the entire bearish structure that brought prices down for the retracement to 61.8. What did prices do? Prices broke the entire bearish structure. This is it. Push, exhaustion, push, all these small waves here. Then prices made push. Okay, let's make the drawings pinpoint from here. Okay, push to this level, price made an exhaustion, push to this level, price made an exhaustion here, then push to this level. What did prices do? It made an exhaustion here. Then after that, prices pushed to this 61.0 zone PRA, and there was a break of structure. The last lower high got broken right here. This was where the last lower high got broken. Let's bring it right here. This were the candlestick that broke the last lower high. Let's take this to the side a bit. So this was what? Push, exhaustion, push, exhaustion, push, exhaustion. The last lower high got broken here, allowing us to know that what? The entire bearish structure has been broken, just like we saw on the weekly time frame. And we know that clearly that price is coming to this high. Okay, however, we also know that that at a break of structure, prices comes back for a discount. Okay, before it comes back for a discount before what? Take off to the top. So all of these bearish moves were only waves of discount that just took so much time before the bulls had enough power to take off. Okay, so now what did we see prices do? We saw prices came for the first wave of discount here. It didn't gather enough momentum to push up. Remember I told you that sometimes prices need double pressure, right? But this time around on GPUSD is very unique because this is like triple pressure. Okay, so price came for the second wave of exhaustion here. It couldn't push up. Then what did prices do? Price now came for the third wave of exhaustion at this level here, and from here it has gathered enough momentum and it has broken the last lower high right here. The last lower high of one of the structure circles have been broken. Okay, so before we get to the discount structures, first of all, let's bring out our Fibonacci. We can bring out our Fibonacci from the lowest point here to the highest point here. All of these are the discount structures. Remember we said this was what? The first wave, then this was what? The second wave, and this was the third wave, where we have now seen what? A break of the last lower high, allowing us to know that within this structure circle, this is take profit 1, then eventually price is coming to that level. Okay, so what are we now going to do? Let's identify the lowest point right here that price is rejected, as what? As the discount, let's just take this level and tag it as what? 61.8 discount. Okay, so let's put that 61.8 discount. And what is my job? My job is to read the entire structure that took prices for that discount. Okay, so now what are the entire bearish structures? Okay, so from here we saw price make push to this level, we saw price made an exhaustion. This is one structure circle, right? Then we saw prices now started a new structure circle here, made push, made an exhaustion, hit 61.8 here. Then after price hit 61.8, what happened? Prices broke the last lower high right here. Okay, so now let's bring this high here to identify that particular structure circle that got broken. Okay, so this level right here will now be tagged as CSC. Is the current structure circle that got broken. Okay, the last lower high, you can see that these were the candlesticks that broke what? The last lower high. You can switch to the line chart, you can see that these were the candlesticks that broke the last lower high, allowing us to know that within this structure circle, this is our first take profit. Eventually price will break into this, then eventually to get here, but at least these are our first take profit within this particular structure circle. Okay, so now that that has been defined, we would now focus on what? On the information from this CSC down to this 61.8 discount here as our current range of focus, right? So from here, we saw prices made push, like we said, price came for an exhaustion, push to the 61.8 discount here, then a break of structure has happened. So when the break of structure has happened, our first trade, which was our original trade on GBP JPY, was what? Was instead of prices coming down to the 61.8, right? And this is a concept I've talked about, especially with a wide break of structure. Instead of price coming down to the 61.8, prices can find what? A resistance level and turn that resistance to a support level, and from there take off back to the top. So that was the fate of GBP JPY in this case. Now, how did prices do that? Remember that what? A break of structure has happened, right? Instead of prices pulling back to the entire 61.8 for the discount, what did prices do? Prices simply found a strong, I'll make a pinpoint, prices simply found a strong resistance point here and turned this resistance to a support, and it is ready to take off to the top because the entire bearish structures that brought it down to this level here has been broken. It turned a resistance to support, and right now it's ready to take off to the entire top. Okay, so whenever a wide break of structure happens, okay, let's do that again. This is push, exhaustion, push. If it's a wide break of structure, right, sometimes maybe expecting price to come to the 61.8, but sometimes it could just turn maybe an inner resistance to a support and break structure and just head back to the top. So that is what happened in this case. It turned this inner resistance to a support, broke the entire structure that brought it there, and is live, ready to take off to the entire CSC. So what are we going to do? We now went to the 4-hour time frame, right? And on the 4-hour time frame, what did we see? We decided to group prices into different structure circles. Okay, what were the different structure circles? From this 61.8, we saw price make push, exhaustion here, then push, exhaustion, push to this level, price made the exhaustion, all of this movement, right? Price made push again, made an exhaustion, and this was a separate structure circle. So let me just take this here to identify that this was a separate structure circle here. Okay, so let me just tag this level here as CSC. Okay, this was a separate structure circle. So now our first original trade that we saw was what? Was within this window right here. From here, within all of this window here was our first original trade. Now, how did we see the original trade? From here, we saw prices make push, we saw price made an exhaustion, push to this level, an exhaustion, then prices push to all of these levels right here. Then what did prices do? All of these levels, as we know, let's just put this resistance here. All of these levels, as we know, are resistance zones. You can see the resistance there. All of these levels are resistance zones. So prices broke structure, yes, but that resistance zone now triggered prices, to also break the bullish structure to come for a discount. So prices came for the discount at 61.8. Then the entire bearish structure that brought it down for the discount, prices broke it. Prices pushed here, came back for the discount here. And what did prices do? Prices hit take profit at the highest point of this particular level here. So prices eventually came and hit take profit at the highest point of rejection. I'll make it pinpoint. Okay, so this was the trade that we hit take profit on last week. All of us hit take profit on this particular trade. So let me just tag this level now. This one would not be very important for us right now because price has hit this level here. So this level would now be CSC. Okay, so I'll make it slimmer, so that we know the exact point where prices hit. Okay, so remember that what, as at that point, this level here was tagged as what? This level here was tagged as what? 61.8. This was a 61.8 PRA level. Remember that what? That the concept was what? Within this zone, right? The entire bullish structure, right, that took prices to break this last lower high here. The entire, within this structure circle, there was a break of structure, but the entire structure that brought prices down for that retracement, it's 61.8 and broke, and price came back for a discount and headed to take profit as a very, very beautiful trade. Okay, so now that that opportunity was done, let's just even go to the 1 hour time frame to just expatiate on that opportunity. Okay, so this was one of the very beautiful trades that we picked last week. It was a very beautiful and flawless trade. Yes, what was the opportunity again? All of these small structures here, prices came, made what? The last lower high. Then what did prices do? Prices continued by what? By hitting the 61.8, breaking the last lower high here, almost hit TP, but it did not. Instead, what the prices do, in all of his grace, he decided to come back to give us a discount here. And what the prices do, the entire discount structures, prices broke the discount structures, gave us another discount again, and we were able to buy flawlessly to take profit. Okay, so this was a very, very beautiful trade. Okay, so after that particular beautiful trade, what did prices do? Price decided to give us a brand new opportunity. Okay, so where did the brand new opportunity come from? Okay, we decided to read the bullish structure. Remember that prices completed that particular move here, so we decided to read the bullish structure, right? So let's just take it from here. From here, this is push, exhaustion. This is a separate structure circle. Okay, then prices, now there was now a break of structure of a small structure circle, which was what? The structure circle from push, exhaustion here. Prices made push, exhaustion here. Price made push, hit the CSC level. Prices broke structure. After prices broke structure, what did prices do? Prices went ahead to what? To break the discount structures, which if you had wanted, you could have sold to the 61.8. But for us, we didn't take that opportunity. Okay, so now what is the 61.8? You bring out the Fibonacci from the low to the high. The 61.8 is right here within this particular structure circle. Okay, so let's take this off. The 61.8 is right here within this particular structure. So I can see this is 1.8 here, but remember that we always pick the lowest point. So this is 61.8 PRA level. Okay, so now what is our new trade for the week? And this is the trade that we are looking forward to making money on for the week. Okay, remember that what this level right here is a CSC, is also a resistance point. Okay, so let's put this inside. So now what is our first opportunity for the week? We'll read the structures. What are the structures? The structures from here, right, is what? Is push and exhaustion. Okay, nothing has happened to this structure. This structure is still valid. This structure is still valid, and there has not been a break. However, there's been a break of a structure, which is what? Of a small structure circle, which is push, exhaustion, push to the 61.8. There has been a break of the last lower high here. So what am I expecting? I'm expecting what? Price to just come for a discount, and at a discount, where are we going to buy to? Now, I'm not going to buy at 61.8 pinpoint. I've taught you guys that what? If it's a break of a small and not the entire structure circle that brought prices down for the 61.8, then what am I going to do? I must see a break of the structure that brought it down to 61. If I see a break, I can buy pinpoint, or I can wait for a discount again at this resistance, which it got to before it fell. I would break even. Then this level right here within the structure circle will be my take profit level. Okay, so this level right here is my take profit for prices. However, we must see what? A break of the structure. Okay, so first of all, just like you guys can see, the last lower high has been broken right here. However, it is a break of a small and not the entire structure circle. What is the entire structure circle? It's one that starts from here. This is push, exhaustion. This is a big structure. If nothing has happened to it, it is still very valid. However, price has broken a small structure. Okay, so however, in order for this trade not to be a retracement, because sometimes price can just come here and keep selling because it was a break of a small structure circle. Okay, so that's why I'm not going to buy at the 61.8 discount. If not, so that's why I'll now wait for what? A break of structure. I'll wait for a break of the structure that took it down to the 61.8. Maybe wait for a discount again at this resistance point where it started falling from. I'll break even But this level, 100% of the broken structure circle will be my take profit. So this is the exact trade that we're going to wait for on prices. If price decides to give us this opportunity, maybe by Tuesday, we should all be in on this trade if it decides to give us this particular opportunity. So we'll just sit back, we'll wait, allow prices to expose itself out.